So in today's video, we're just going to talk a little bit about the process behind and a little bit more about the motivation behind installing a set of side lockers into our Defender. So the process itself is pretty simple. The side lockers don't really come with any formal instructions, but they do give you a set of measurements, which is very useful, and you're going to want to be pretty familiar with these. The first thing we had to do was remove a bit of existing checker plate. Then it was just a question of measuring out and marking the position of the side locker. Once that was done and we had checked and double checked the measurements, we could go ahead and cut out the hole for the side lockers. The original bracket also needs to be removed. In our case, the nuts were rusted so badly that we just went for the angle grinder approach and took it out that way. One of the brackets is super simple, it just bolts into place. The other one for us required a tiny modification to the chassis, and then we had to drill 2 holes for the bolts. But then it just bolts on, easy. We then just cleaned up the aperture and applied a bead of silicone around the inside of the side locker. Then we fit the side locker in place, and it's just a question of drilling and riveting each of the holes. The door is also held in place with rivets. Then we put on the seal, which will help to keep our jerry cans out of the elements, drilled a hole for the lock drop bolt, and drilled and riveted the bottom of the side locker to the brackets we'd put in place earlier. The final step for us was to cut our checker plate to accommodate the new side locker, and then reapply that with rivets and a new bead of silicone sealant. And then we were done. It is a really easy job. The only tools you really need are a few sockets, a drill, and a jigsaw or a reciprocating saw of some kind. I mentioned I'd also talk a bit about our motivation for installing the side lockers. Number one, and the biggest reason we put these in, is because they're making use of what would otherwise be wasted space. The side lockers fit into what is just a cavity underneath the vehicle, which would be used for nothing else if we didn't have the side lockers in place. So that's one reason why these things are great. The second thing that's really cool is that they keep the weight of any additional water or any additional fuel low down, which means it's not going to affect your center of gravity. If you put 80 litres of diesel up on your roof rack and you're in some dodgy terrain, there's a good chance you're going to roll your car. You don't want that. And so the final thing is that it keeps fuel outside the vehicle, which from a safety point of view and just from a general comfort point of view, that's amazing. So that was our motivation. This is how we did it. Thanks for watching.